until I. All right, let me back it up. Somebody was.
Use the mouse. Glance at the list, press 1. Then either press Enter or place this in any dictionary I need. Total Eclipse understands it's easy to drag or drop keys when you're writing complicated steno like vancomycin. A glance at the list, the right choice jumps out at me. Choice 1. I won't put this in a dictionary, but I'll just apply it to the rest of the job.
Okay, what I was saying before someone turned the recorder off was that if you want to put it into a trash dictionary, you don't want it in your main, you don't want it in a job dictionary because you're not going to use it again. You just want to replace it that one time, put it into a trash global or a trash dictionary. Guys, next time I use this, once again, it'll be the first time. But whatever. I mean, and it's not that it's a bad thing. I just don't use it. All right? I'll usually put it into a job dictionary and just whatever. Okay?
So your steno doesn't have to be perfect to take advantage of global magic. This time I dragged in the number bar. Total Eclipse understands. Choice 1 and Enter. Total Eclipse understands steno stacking. Choice 1, the suffix S followed by U.
You see what it's doing right there? So the more that you use this, the more that you use the software, the more that it's going to understand what you're doing. Okay? So let's just say you stacked it and assume there are many, and it should have been cities, but you stacked it with you have. Okay? And that's the way that you stroke you have. Well, by globaling it, it may give you that option. Is that what you meant? S as a suffix, you have. And if you do, then you press 1 and go on. And we're going to do this later on, but pay attention to what they just, to how they did it right there. And made it a suffix. You're going to do the same thing with the prefix, where you put these brackets, and depending on where you put that little caret, is going to determine whether it's a prefix or a suffix. So pay attention to what they're doing right there. Or, you know, maybe you do it have you. That's the way you do have you, okay? No big deal. But say that number 4 was the one that you wanted. You select number 4, automatically puts it in there, puts it in, and watch what it does.
You have. We'll see it applied with it.
You see what it did? Takes the Y off. You don't have to worry about IES, ES, S. It doesn't matter. The software does it for you, okay? So you don't have to worry about any of this. It's the same thing with putting prefixes and suffixes with W, okay? Once you press W and you put a prefix in there or whatever, it's going to know whether it's ED, IED, S, ES, IES. You don't have to worry about that. It's going to do it for you, okay?
Intelligent spelling adjustments. How many times do you retype text as you're defining different ways of writing new names or terms in a job? Here I have a job dictionary entry for Tetra Technologies. The next time I wrote it, it's stacked with the period. No problem. Total Eclipse understands steno stacking. Choice 2, and it automatically offers to place this capitalized text in the job dictionary. Enter. Most of the time you'll probably find that the suggestion you need is at the top of the list.
You see what it was telling you right there? I'll back it up just.
As you're defining different ways of writing new names or terms.
So say you have a brief for Tetra Technologies. Seriously, guys? You're not going to stroke that out every time. If you do, you may not be in this profession very long because your hands are going to fall completely off or whatever. So you want to work smarter, not harder, okay? So if they're talking about Tetra Technologies and they just keep saying it, seriously, do not stroke that thing out every time. You do what you want. If you think that it's easy to stroke that out, that's 5 strokes for me. okay? I don't know what it is for you, but I'm not stroking that thing out 5 times when I can do that twice. And that's gonna come out once you global it, okay? So, it's gonna know what you're doing. So you go through here and you define it the first time, okay? Well, the next time you come, you just added the period on there. And that's what they were talking about.
In a job. Here I have a job dictionary entry for Tetra Technologies. The next time I wrote it,
The next time they wrote it, it was with the period, okay? Well, it's gonna remember what you did the last time, that it was pretty close. It's already gonna start guessing.
it's stacked with the period. No problem.
So now, over here in the Global Magic, which your window will be open, it's not gonna be like this. It's gonna, you're gonna have the big window, okay? And it's gonna give you these things. Well, the last time you stroked it, it was Tetra Technologies. Is that what you wanted to do? Or did you want it to do Tetra Technologies, which is what you meant to do, with a period? You see what it's telling you? So every time you stroke it like this, it's gonna remember, I wanted Tetra Technologies with a period. All right? So it's helping you remember what you're doing. Does that make sense? I don't know if I said that right. It's the more you use it, the more it's gonna start guessing what you want to do. Does that make better sense? Okay.
Total Eclipse understands steno stacking. Choice 2, and it automatically offers to place this capitalized text in the job dictionary. Enter. Most of the time, you'll probably find that the suggestion you need is at the top of the list. But if Eclipse has not guessed properly,
And usually it is. So maybe it was supposed to be men. Well, it's going to start giving you all kinds of suggestions. Okay? So, you just pick the one that's right. Maybe you stacked it with the P and you wanted it to be me. Select the one that you need. Okay?
just start typing. No additional steps are needed to make the glance list disappear. A quick note, a little tweaking of your phonetics table can really help Total Eclipse tune in to your writing style. Although Global Magic combines many sophisticated features, it's easy to use, even for editing from the steno keyboard. It can help you to quickly read your steno, greatly reduce your typing, and the more you use it, the better it gets.
The more you use it, the better it gets. The more you use it, the better it gets. So if you're doing N all the time and you're just typing stuff in, it's not learning anything that you're doing. Okay? Now I'm not saying that there's not a good time to use N. There is. When you really messed up or misstroked something and you really don't want it in there, do N, type it in, chop it off, take it out, whatever. Okay? But the more that you use it, the more that it's going to remember. Okay? There's a little exercise, so if you want to go through and mess with the exercise, you can.
Let's see some of the choices that AutoMagic offers for dealing with untranslates and global replacements. Global replacements. In 2006, Eclipse introduced Global Magic. Just mark your notes and pick a choice off a list. It's that easy. You can still use the powerful and efficient globaling dialog, but it takes less steps to use AutoMagic.
Okay. Once you go through there and you highlight and mark a word, global it through your thing, through your job, because that's what you're taking the depot of, or some kind of arthroscopic surgery. All right? Once you've already done it, it's going to remember it. So whether you do AR, and maybe you do ART right here next time, well, it's going to remember. Last time you did AR with these strokes, these other strokes, you did arthroscopic. So it's going to come up like this, okay? But it's going to tell you the last time you did it, you put arthroscopic, okay? And what this is telling you is 3 puts it in there. Arthroscopic is the word that you choose, and the little 4 right here is the number of strokes, okay? That's all that means right there, is that little thing, that little 4 is the number of strokes that you have in there, okay? That's what it's telling you. So 3 is the choice, that's the word, number of strokes.
As soon as I put my cursor on the first part of this string that means arthroscopic, Eclipse prepared a 4-stroke stenoglobal. That's what the 4 within parentheses means. And I didn't even have to mark text first, so that saved me several steps. It's choice 3 on the AutoMagic list, so I'll press 3. Now I can press 1 or 2 if I want this definition to go into my main or job dictionary. I would press 3 if I want to browse to another dictionary. Pressing 4 would apply this global to this document without creating a dictionary entry.
You see what it's telling you right there? So once you select it, it's going to ask you if you want to put it in a dictionary, okay? You don't have to. Select 5, no big deal. But if you want it in your main, job, other dictionary, only this document, which is kind of a trash, that's how you would use it.
Eclipse users call a trash global. And if I press 5, or the escape key, or simply move my cursor, then that will mean this was simply a local replacement. In other words, creating a global for this technical word took only 1 or 2 steps and involved no typing at all. Here's a 2-stroke untranslate that means garage.
So a lot of times, it'll already start guessing what you're wanting to do, okay? Just by you using the software itself. You don't even have to have had put garage in there. It's going to start guessing, okay? Did you mean gay? Did you mean good? Did you mean gave? Or did you want to put it together with the next stroke as garage? So it's already thinking ahead of what you want to do, okay?
I don't have to start off by marking my notes. Just place my cursor on the first stroke and pick choice 3 from the AutoMagic list. And now press a number to finish making this global replacement. Again, that would take only 1 or 2 steps. I didn't have to mark notes, and I didn't have to type anything at all. Eclipse Translation Magic does a very good job of understanding things that are not even in your dictionary.
It starts kind of doing and guessing what you want to do. So it may put some things in there that may not make sense, okay? Say you know, it's supposed to be arthroscopic surgery. Maybe it's arthroscopic sugary. I doubt it. But whatever. You stroked it a little bit wrong, no big deal. It gives you the options right here. Well, this is what you typed. It's pretty close to that. Is that what you meant to put? No, I meant to put surgery. So you just select 1, automatically replaces it. You don't have to worry about globaling it, marking it, none of that, okay?
But sometimes the guesses can be incorrect. If so, take a look at the top of the AutoMagic list. You'll find additional choices there, and the one you need will probably be right at the top of the list. These are just some of the ways in which AutoMagic helps you deal with untranslates and global replacements with the minimum number of steps.
Got it? I'm tired of reading. Jeez.
Eclipse is famous for intelligent conflict resolution. Let's see how it works. Here, the word table is an untranslate, although it's been intelligently guessed. I'll define it as a conflict. A backslash will separate each conflict choice from the next.
You have to be real careful here, guys. When you're doing and creating a conflict, you have to be real careful which one of these you choose. There's a backslash and then there's a slash, I guess. So you have to be careful which one you choose here, because if you don't choose the right one, it has no idea what you're trying to do. Okay? Does that make sense? So it came up, it was in red, so it was a conflict, okay? When it's in the different color, it's gonna tell you that it's a conflict, okay? It's not in black, so black is just stuff that doesn't conflict usually with anything. It's already in your main dictionary, ready to go. If it's in a different color, that means it's something else, okay?
I'll also include a command that tells the system that if a number follows, the number should be in numeral form, not written form.
Got that? So when you're talking about where is your table, table's just regular. That follows table 12. Well, now you're talking about a specific table. So now it needs to be capitalized. It's because it's a specific table. Okay? So now it's table 12. So what you're telling your dictionary right now is, one, it's a conflict. We're setting it up as a conflict. The first one is going to be usually the one that you use the most, which is going to be small table. Okay? But when table is used with a number, it's probably going to be capitalized. So that's what you're telling it right now. I want a capital table, bracket. This means that a number is going to be there. That's what that means. This little pound sign means number. Okay? The N stands for numeral. You want it in a numeral. You don't want it TWELVE. Okay? You want it 1, 2. Closed bracket. Guys, this isn't parentheses. Okay? This is the bracket. So if you go in there and you put a parentheses in there, it's not going to know what to do, and it's going to be all jacked up. Okay? And we're going to get into that. We're going to learn how to do with the brackets. Okay? And when to use the brackets and how to use the brackets. Okay? But that's what it's telling it right there.
This conflict will go in my main dictionary. This will actually be two conflicts back to back. Your is a conflict that was resolved by the computer. Here, choice 1 is correct. Here you see that you can have different colors to display the conflicts that you yourself have picked, as opposed to those that the computer has picked and those that have yet to be resolved.
You see what it's telling you right there? And we're going to get to colors. And it's going to, you know, the computer has already done it for you. The software has done it for you, okay? You want to go through there and mess with it, you can. I suggest you probably don't, but you can do whatever you want. I'm going to show you how to do it. But it's going to show you. So the different colors are things that the computer has done. When it's in black, that's already in your dictionary, not a conflict or an untranslated or anything like that. So the different colors is what signifies what just happened, okay?
You also notice that the dictionary indicates that Eclipse Artificial Intelligence has learned one rule for resolving this conflict.
So when it comes up and you put it up there, it's going to tell you how many times the artificial intelligence, that's what that is, AI. How many times the artificial intelligence has gone through there and fixed it for you, okay?
In the future, each time you select a conflict choice, Eclipse can learn from your editing. The more you use it, the smarter it gets.
Got that? The more you use it, the smarter it gets.
You can always select a different conflict choice if necessary. The number for each choice is displayed in the status bar at the lower left of your screen.
You see what it's telling you right here? Right down here. So if you go up here and they're talking about, they're just talking about a doctor. They're not talking to the doctor. They're just talking about a doctor, any doctor. That's lowercase d. So that's number 1. Now they're talking about where is your table that follows table 12 in the book, doctor. Well, they're talking to a doctor. They're talking to the guy. Now he's a guy, judge, doctor, any of that stuff needs to be capitalized, and that's where it is. So if it follows another word, so it gives you the different options. It gives you small, if it needs to be the abbreviation, or just to capitalize doctor, if they're talking to a specific doctor.
But you can also right-click on a conflict to see its choices and pick the one that is correct.
Got it? Yes?
Yes.
No? Mr. Shevsky says yes.
Why are you trying to make me laugh, sir?
Why not? All right. This is where you're going to learn about colors, okay?
Let's see how Eclipse gives you total control over your display colors. Colors. Color selections are not just for expressing your individuality. This example uses one color for translated text, another for text that was typed in, and a third for text that was added by the scopist. These two colors...
You see what it's telling you there? You can use colors for all kinds of things, guys. All kinds of things. I suggest you probably don't, but this is how you do it if you want to change it.
distinguish a conflict that was resolved by the computer and one that was resolved by the user. Let's change the color for form fields. Settings, display, color selections.
So go into that. How do you go into your user settings?
Control U.
Huh?
Is it Control U?
Alt.
Oh, U.
Alt U. Go in there. Go into display, and then go into colors.
Form fields are just one of more than 20 items for which you can assign a background and a foreground color. Let's change the background color. You can select from one of many basic colors, or define a custom color, and then add it, select it, and say OK.
You see what it's doing there? Guys, you got this kind of time on your hands. Help yourself, okay? You wanna go in there, you move this little arrow up and down as to what color green you want. Seriously? You can, okay? You can do whatever you want for the background and for the foreground, okay? And this is how you do it.
But you also have the option to display all text in one color. This is a quick way to simplify the appearance of your screen, and it's a very popular feature for those who do real-time writing for the hearing impaired, CART writers.
So if you want to do that, that's how you do it. Check that little box. It's all going to come up in black. Everything. Okay? A little harder on the eyes, I think, but whatever. But like cart riders like it because, I mean, to be cart, you're elite. You're good, really good. Okay, so most of your stuff is coming up. It's coming up. Okay, so it's easier for the reader to read it in black and white rather than see it in different colors, and that's how you would change it. Is going into that box, mark that little box of select one color or whatever, and that's how you do it. Any questions about colors?
No.
So you can go through there and kind of mess with that if you want. I suggest you probably don't, but you do what you want.
Here's an important tip concerning Eclipse Artificial Intelligence. It only learns new rules when you place your cursor on a conflict and pick the correct choice. If instead you just place your cursor on a conflict and just type new text, Eclipse learns nothing.
You understand what it's telling you right there? Just what I've been telling you guys since the beginning. The more you use it as a word processor, the less the software is going to learn. Okay?
In other words, Eclipse can learn when you pick a conflict, but not when you type over it. Also, you should make your first conflict choice the more likely one. Then, in the Translate section of your user settings, you'll be able to ask Eclipse to pick the first choice when it otherwise would not know how to resolve a conflict.
You understand what it's telling you right there? So you can go in here into user settings, translate, and it's automatically going to pick the first one. You want the first one to be the one that you're going to use the most, okay? So it doesn't really matter if you have table and table 12 and table doesn't come up with a capital T and you're in a depot. Really? It's not that big of a deal. They know what you meant. It didn't come up the way that it was actually supposed to with a capital T, but it's not that big of a deal. They got the gist of it. And the software was able to pick it because it was a first conflict choice by default. So if you wanted to pick the first conflict choice by default, then you check that little box in user settings, which is what? Alt U. Translate, bam.
Sometimes a conflict will occur in an exceptional context, and you'll want to pick a conflict choice but not teach a context rule. If so, just hold down the Shift key and press the conflict choice number. That will take care of the exception without affecting what the artificial intelligence has learned. Much more could be said about conflicts, but this is the subject of a separate in-depth ePower video tutorial that includes a conflicts kit with dictionaries that contain hundreds of entries that have already learned how to resolve beautifully. So this is a great way to take full advantage of Eclipse translation magic.
Got it? I'm just going to start saying got it in that.
Let's see some of the choices that AutoMagic offers for resolving dictionary conflicts. Eclipse conflict resolution works so well that many users start creating conflicts to improve their translation results and reduce their editing time. Of course, context can be ambiguous, and if Eclipse does pick the wrong choice, AutoMagic will make it easy to correct. So here, if I press 1, that picks the first conflict choice. Here again, I've simulated another incorrect conflict choice, and so I'll press 1 to pick the right choice for meat. Here's an example of using a conflict so that Eclipse can help you with punctuation. The conflict did resolve correctly, and with my cursor now at the end of this sentence, AutoMagic is seeing that I might need to put a question mark. I could press 4 to do that, but AutoMagic is also trying to teach me the hyper key or speed key. Here's a conflict.
You see what it does right there? All it's doing is giving you choices of what you need to do. It had where you did MEAT, okay? Completely wrong. Well, right here it's going to give you the option of did you, which was number 1, and meet, which was number 1, okay? And it also kind of helps you with your punctuation too. You know, it's going to see that you put punctuation in there. Is that what you meant? I told you I didn't? No, I told you, didn't I? And it's going to ask you if you want to put punctuation in there at the end with the question mark, and it gives it to you as an option, okay?
That involves hyphenation, and I've simulated the need to choose choice 2 to select up to date with hyphens.
So it's going to give you that option most of the time. But if it doesn't, you can mark it, which is what? M or F7. So F7, and you mark these 3 strokes, and then just press the hyphen, and it'll automatically put it in there. It's pretty neat. Are y'all in the document?
Yes.
Mark 3 strokes. Just mark any 3 strokes. So just do
M?
or F7.
Oh, the no. And then again?
Yeah, and again. And now do the, see how it did it?
Oh, that is right.
So you don't have to go in there and put it on the word backspace, hyphen, go to the next word, backspace, hyphen. You mark it through F7, do the hyphen key, and it should do it. Did it? Now mark it again. And do the hyphen. So by marking it again and doing the hyphen again, on the steno that was already hyphenated, we'll take it off. Okay? So you don't need to go in there and do it.
So to remove the little hangers,
So do F7?
just,
F7. Oh, yours is, yeah. All right, now do the hyphen. You see how it took it off?
yeah.
So it'll put it on there and it'll take it off. Okay?
This is actually 3 conflicts in a row, and my cursor is now on a conflict between the word number and capital N-O period if it comes before a number. Eclipse chose the right choice, but if it had not, I could have chosen the choice from the automagic list. Here's a conflict that helps with punctuation. Sometimes I tend to write the comma, sometimes I leave it out, but the conflict anticipates the need for commas or not. Finally, here's a conflict that helps with capitalization. What would happen if I needed to choose choice 2 to capitalize the word street? This entry in the dictionary
You
starts...
see what it did right there? By choosing that one entry, which is this, I'm going to back it up just a bit.
If I needed...
You see how it's supposed to be on State Street. So that is a specific street. So both of those have to be capitalized. Well, your cursor is here on street, so it's asking you, do you want capital street? And this little thing right here tells it cap the next word behind it. So it's a specific street, okay, that needs to be capped, and that's what it's telling it right there, okay?
to choose choice 2 to capitalize the word street. This entry in the dictionary
And it did, you see? Just by choosing that entry.
starts with a command to capitalize the previous word. It capitalized the word state. For each of these conflict entries of various sorts, Automagic not only makes it easy to pick the appropriate choice, but it gives you other possibilities as well. Perhaps you need to delete the conflict in a particular spot, or global the steno to mean something else. Automagic makes it easy.
Got it, Annette?
Yes.
Let's see how Total Eclipse form fields make it easy to fill in the blanks for information that changes from transcript to transcript to transcript. There are several ways to begin filling in the blanks. You can click on a toolbar menu, or go to the production menu, or use speed key Control-E, or hyperkey E. In this blank, I'll type in a number, and pressing enter is okay. Blanks can be set to automatically adjust their size to accommodate your text. And to delete.
What it's telling you right there is you can put in these things, auto adjust, and it's going to keep these things in line by telling it to auto adjust regardless of how long this line is. Okay, you just keep typing right here and it's automatically going to adjust to where it gets to the point where it needs to put it down here, it's automatically going to put it down there. Okay?
Thanks.
The entire line thereon if you leave the blank empty. So
if you leave the blank empty and you just press enter, then it's going to delete that line. Okay? So you have to be careful with what you're doing right there. Let me back it up just a bit. I don't know if y'all caught it.
text. And to delete the entire line thereon if you leave the blank empty. So the line that was here was automatically deleted. Blanks can also be set to completely capitalize whatever text gets placed in them, and to look in a list file to give you choices.
So you can set up certain fill in the blank fields by telling it, you know what? I know that it's a certain proceeding and I want it completely capped, which usually it is. I do mine in cap and bold, okay? And you can bring up a list to give you the different kinds of hearings that you're gonna have. Maybe you're not always gonna take the oral deposition. Maybe it's the oral videotape deposition, or the telephonic deposition, or an arbitration proceeding. So you can build these little word lists to where you don't have to type it in every time, okay?
This blank knows how I filled in the witness's name in other spots in my transcript. And it's prompting me in case that information has changed. But I'll just press OK.
You see and that's what I told you when we were filling in the blanks earlier. Remember? On the witness, where every time the witness comes up, it's gonna ask you, it's gonna bring it automatically up, the last one that you put in there, okay? And it's gonna ask you, do you want that one again? Yeah, I do. If not, it's highlighted. All you do is start typing, that thing goes away, and then you just start typing, okay?
And finally, form fields can make it quick and easy to insert client information.
So you build these lists, okay? And like you have certain attorneys that do work in your court or your clients, okay? So you don't have to type in this stuff every time. Are you kidding me? You're gonna do this every time? And type this thing in every time? No.
And finally,
all you have
form
to do,
fields can make it quick and easy to insert client.
You go into a client list, client file, pick your client, and it's automatically gonna put his information in there. It doesn't have it all his information there, but it's in there. You've already put it in there, okay? So all it does is just give you his name.
Information.
And by choosing it, it puts it in there. It puts all that information in there just by choosing that one thing, okay?
Within these short presentations, it's not possible to show all that form fields can do. So a separate in-depth ePower video tutorial is available on form fields and automatic indexing.
Got it, Annette?
Yes.
Okay, and it has a little exercise right here if you want to go through and do it, okay? How do you get into the form field?
F1? F1? No,
E.
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 I was testing.
Well done, Annette. Well played.
Good job.
Any questions about that? No?
No.
All right. Okay, guys, we're done for today. Any questions about what we went over? Guys, we covered a lot of stuff tonight. A lot. Go through and use it, okay? Even the stuff that we've done in the past, use it. Prefixes, suffixes, and hyperkeys, delete, oops, conflicts, all of that stuff, okay? The more you use it, the more that your software is going to understand what you're doing, and it's only going to make it easier for you, okay? Any questions?
No.
All right, we'll see y'all in 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Next week is spring break. The next week is Eclipse 2, and then y'all come the next week. Okay, we'll see y'all.